Hi everybody, welcome to this video titled Exploring Navigation. This is a second part or a second video as part of a 3-video series. My name is Craig Kreskis and I'm a partner solution architect here at Microsoft. Thank you so much for being a part of this video and this training opportunity. As I mentioned, I have created 3 videos to begin part of the pre-sales workshop. This second video is all around the power of list pages. So you're welcome to go back if you haven't already watched the power of the homepage, or part 3 focused on increasing data entry, increasing efficiencies, and some of the shortcuts that you or customers could use inside of Business Central. So let's begin in talking about the list pages and what you as a pre-sales engineer can use to highlight inside of your demonstrations. Now you can use any list page you want. I happen to prefer using the items, has some breadth to it, and I just for new pre-sales engineers, I just want to focus on a few things. Number 1, on the right hand side, you could look where my click bubble is. There's the information icon. This is the information pane that allows you to turn on or turn off. And again, it's up to you. For me, I prefer to have as minimal information on the screen. So again, if that is a little more distracting, you can switch to the different views. So for example, if you want it to be a little bit more on the tile, which I like, and then as I mentioned to you, I can turn off the information pane. So it's really a personal preference. Again, whatever you want to get across to your audiences, that might make it look a little bit easier for them if they've not seen Business Central before. You can also filter on the list pages. So for example, I click on the filter icon, and then I define the filter on the left-hand side. There's some pre-built fields that you can filter on. So for example, I choose quantity on hand, and I'm going to ask Business Central to present only the items that I have inside of inventory that are greater than 1. And then you can save that, and that'll be available for me up in the top left corner. So you can see here that I have those filters that we're creating. I can choose the items by location as another example. So again, some of these come included and some you might want to create based on your presentation style. We can close that out, and then I can open up sales. And you may want in certain parts of your demonstration to pin the submenus so that I'm not always having to manually click sales and then get to the submenus such as customers. Again, I'll leave that up to you. You can see here now that it's pinned, I kind of have this here right at my disposal. And so it reduces the number of clicks it takes to get to something that you might want to get to in your presentation. I'll open up the customer card, and here again, you get information all around the customer, their address. You can see at the top is the general fact box, down below the address, invoicing. And as you saw in the first video, you can always collapse and expand just by clicking on that title. There may also be areas that you don't see on display. Now, that might be available under the Show More function. And we purposely designed that so that the page is going to be a little simpler for somebody just starting out. And to that point, you will find on every area within the application, on the field, if you click on one, you get not only a description about what that field is, but if I ask Copilot, it'll open up an assistant, basically Copilot, and give me more detail as well as instructions on how to leverage that capability in the application. I'll leave that up to you again if you want to start to use Copilot. Here on the screen, I just wanted to make sure everyone is familiar with the tooltips. I also have attachments, so I leverage this so that I have notes as well as links on the customer record. And then also know that you can toggle right and left. I find that very helpful, again, thinking about being more productive and finding customer records or records in a list that I can scroll right and left to. Now, one other feature, and I mentioned this in the first video on the exploring navigation, and that is if I have tray research highlighted here and I use my keyboard, the Alt key and the Q key at the same time, it's going to do a search on tray research, and here you can see I have information directly related to that. Close that out, and then you could also hit escape key so you don't always have to hit the arrow to close out of a window. And then you could see if I open up posted sales invoices, I talked about this in the previous video on how we are trying to provide education and just tool tips for customers who are new to the product. So for example, if somebody is new to posted sales invoices, they can take a tour and simply just click on the next button to follow where it's going next, and then hit next, and got it. And then you can close that out. There's a sneak peek where you can see information about, so anything that has a dotted line will give you a sneak peek into a particular record. And then the other thing I'm going to point out here under the settings and my settings, you may, as you continue to evolve and learn the product, find that the teaching tips for you as a pre-sales engineer are more distracting than they are helpful. Go ahead and turn that off. I have this turned off in most of my tenants as soon as I started out. I just find it to be distraction, but I also wanted to make sure everybody knows the purpose of them. Another great feature in terms of navigation for you in the list pages is the F3 or search key. Here you can see I hit F3, it brings me to the search box. I'm going to type in tray, and you see it filters on all the information for tray research. And then I can also filter. I could filter how I want, or filter on this amount on the highlighted field. So you can see that I have 2 posted sales invoices for that customer. You could also clear the filter. And what's nice about this here is in the Analyze feature, it provides now end users a very similar experience of navigating and doing analysis, similar to what they might have in Excel, but it's right here inside of the list page. So for example, you can see on the right hand side, I can go ahead and hit close or clear. And now I can drag and drop my fields. So I go ahead and drag that customer name down, drop it here. I could do the amount and drop. And then I can enable the pivot mode. And now I've got this pivot field or pivot chart available. And now you can see it's analysis 1. You could rename these however you want just by right mouse click and renaming. And then you can hit analysis 2, and you can go ahead and start to do additional analysis on these list pages. Now, something else you could leverage as a pre-sales engineer is if you select Alt-Tab and you come out to this GitHub page. And I've got the link here right for you to shortcut to this. But our engineering team has put together and compiled a number of different lists and analysis lists that you can bring into your Business Central environment. So for example, if you want to look at this sales and the customer ledger entry lists, you can go ahead and you can see the Q is to control plus the click to open it in a new tab. And the experience here is I'll select OK. And now you can see that is available to me that I just imported into from that page. Selecting on the company will always get me back to the main screen. So if you ever get lost, that's what you always select on Kronos USA in my scenario. So that's a video on the list pages and how to get started inside of Business Central. Again, this is a 2-part video series. 3-part. This is video number 2, all on list pages. I want to say thank you so much for spending time to learn more about how to explore and how to build out your navigation skills around Business Central. My name is Craig, and I will see you on a video again real soon.